Welcome back to our final here of our gym challenge Sunday. I'm here with my co-caster of the day, Emotional Support Pikachu, and we are about to get into our matchup. This is exciting because first off, we've had amazing players today. We had some really exciting matchups, and we got Robert Matthews versus Davis in the final, Magnezone in the final of a tournament. I did not think I'd see that like at all. I love Magnezone. It's one of those things that seeing unusual Pokemon like that, so much fun. At least for me, I always love using some Pokemon. Cough, cough, low kicks. But no, it's going to be interesting. And of course, it's not a Pokemon Gym Challenge Sunday final, unless you see Armarouge in the final, because duh. Robert's team is also fun. You know, you've got Fluttermane. It's so perfectly balanced. You know, I think we were talking about this earlier, where there's teams there's like, well, it's good balance between support, bulky offense, and then hyper offense, right? Which in this case, Fluttermane, Iron Bundle, hyper offense. Iron Hands and Redraft are bulky offense, and Arcanine and Moons are support. And there's this screen with the first match getting on our way. We're gonna go with start off here, as you can see, Magnezone on the left side. That's gonna be Brandon, also with Armor's Iron Hands, Roaring Moon, Indeedee, and Gastrodon. While Robert on the right side is gonna have Moongus Iron Bundle, Arcanine, Fluttermane Iron. I feel like I was doing the Poke Rap there. This is Moongus Iron Bundle, Arcanine, Fluttermane. Anyways, let's get into this. Yeah, I think here the nice thing, I have a lot of options, right? You have two specific. You have Roaring Moon as a fast offensive hit, but common one, and Robert team, seeing how it's not too Trick Room friendly, especially compared to what you have. Armor's Indeedee, of course. Well, if you're Robert, if you see this coming, best bet. One thing is, depending on the speed on your Redraft, you will unspeed both Armarouge and Indeedee, where you can get your attacks out faster, but not carrying Hyper Voice, carrying Dazzling Gleam and Psychic, so can't really do too much here. So we're going to leave with just Hyper Offense there with Iron Bundle and Redraft. I'm sorry, Iron Bundle and Fluttermane, not Redraft. While Indeedee and Armarouge dumb Brandon's. Yeah, the hard part here is just to follow me trick. I think it's, you know, there's not much you can stop that. You can taunt me, but there's nothing in this case, in my opinion, there's nothing here preventing that Armor setting up. Like, there's nothing here that can stop it. If you follow me, you may sacrifice your Indeedee. You don't necessarily, but yeah, because especially because Fluttermane does, with spread move, and if it would be awesome. Effective. That armor just gets like Iron Bundle going to protect. That's a smart call. Fluttermane move after this. Follow me. This thing's gonna move fast because you don't want to Shadow Ball. No, it's gonna be a taunt. Okay, that's also a really wise play. Yeah, taunt, it means that this Indy cannot can't actually can only Dazzling Gleam, which here's the hard part. And I think maybe this is why Robert went for this lead, knowing that there's potential for the room is Armarouge can Expanding Force, right? Bundle will probably go down. Fluttermane is like the opposite in terms of defenses, right? Bundle's very physically defensive, while Fluttermane is definitely more special defensive. Could take a hit from that Armarouge, so I wouldn't be surprised, and then return the favor. Now that Indy wanted, you can go Shadow Ball or Moonblast. Always Shadow Ball, just. We're gonna see Terra off on this side. I believe this is Terra Grass and Armarouge here, yeah. So boom, there it is. Instantly. Its head kind of looks like wood, the helmet. Makes sense. No, but we're gonna go ahead and see that Expanding Force come out, which is probably gonna knock out this Iron. Yeah, it does. Gets Fluttermane actually down pretty far, down around what, 35%. Indeed, he goes for that Dazzling Gleam to potentially pick up the knockout on Fluttermane, but it doesn't do it with a single target. Shadow Ball gonna take. They're gonna give this Armarouge 90 damage and make me roll. Either way, I don't think it's a good idea to. I think Iron Hands is. Iron Hands is scared. Iron Hands is really scared of whether it's a Dazzling Gleam or an Expanding Force. So I think it's gonna tear out Astral Fire here. Very surprised. Yeah, I was gonna say I would be really surprised if this Iron Hands doesn't go straight up for that fire attack. Which is also gonna help against that Dazzling Gleam from you. But yeah, that Terrestrial to fire is definitely the right call. Otherwise, you die to Expanding Force. So Armor's gonna go for that protect. And Fluttermane gonna protect as well. So that's just very smart strategy. Just kind of preserving it. Drain Punch was gonna go into the Armor slot. Not gonna happen. It's gonna go ahead and stay up for now. But this NDD gets a free Dazzling Gleam, which we said earlier. It's gonna cripple this armor. I'm sorry, it's gonna cripple this iron. Not very much anymore because of the fire, but it would have crippled the Iron Hands if we tried to fire. And we know this Iron Hands is Assault Vest, so Expanding Force isn't anymore, and be able to recover with Drain Punch. I think right now, thanks to that one more turn of taunt, that Armor Rouge is probably gonna go. I think Robert, this is a really good switch in. This is like this is a really solid switch in ever that last book. Keep your Fluttermane alive, yeah. You know your Iron Hand's gonna go before the armor. Get rid of it, and you can't really do much. And it's Arcanine, so it's again really I'd say kind of a great partner right now for Iron Hands because you not only the Intimidate's not gonna matter, but you have Snarls, you got Willows. Those are gonna be really cool. Drain Punch. Oh, does not pick up the knockout on the Armor Rouge. So that is actually not what Robert wanted to see. I totally thought I would, but Armor Rouge proves to be still really bulky. That Arcanine is gonna activate that berry. It gets that recovery, but now it doesn't have another way to recover after that. And the Dazzling Gleam's gonna just get Arcanine past 50%, but Iron Hands still above. And thanks to NDD's NDD's follow taunt running off, it can now go for that follow me. I'm guessing if anything, will be a Drain Punch. So another expanding. I think it's gonna be. I mean, right now, if you can outspeed the room. Interestingly enough, Robert we're gonna say NDD switch out, but Robert has speed control no matter what, because I believe Iron Hands is fastest in Trick Room, and Arcanine is slowest in Trick Room. But we're gonna see that Iron Hands come out, so potential fake out on this next turn, which I believe is when the Psychic Terrain runs out. Armor is gonna protect itself, pretty smart there. Arcanine gonna protect itself, so Arcanine survives, and then it is just this Iron Hands, which is going to hit. Is going to go for Brandon's Iron Hand, so that means Robert's Iron Hands is going. Again, raise it health and go back up to around 80%. Twist Dimensions for normal, and the weirdness disappears from the battlefield. So there you go. Now I believe Arcanine is potentially the fastest Pokemon, but Fake Out exists, and so does. So I think honestly, the best bet. Yeah, I think if I was Robert, I would just double up onto the Arcanine. I would go for a Snarl, and I would go for like a Drain Punch or something, because having that potential Trick Room set up again is going to really off Arcanine. Having power to whatever is really nice, and seeing how much the Drain Punch did on the Iron Hand, around like 70. Really not that bad. It's around 30. Really not bad. And we're gonna see actually Armor Rouge swap on out back to get that weird backup battlefield. No priority moves in place again. Which is fine. It's not really going to matter. It's not like it has priority. That Snarl, though, really nice for that NDD. And it does cripple Iron Hands a little bit. But hitting the NDD is the more important one because it drops fire. It is heavily support NDD, but I feel like it's dazzling. That Drain Punch, not quite a knockout on Robert's Arcanine, which is kind of what we saw earlier with that Armor Rouge. But the Robert's Iron Hands going to go ahead and hit that NDD for yourself. Well, one thing that's interesting, though, Brandon's Iron Hands does Iron Hand. So if a Trick Room is coming in play for Brandon here, and it is going to make it so Robert's outspeed. Honestly, I think right now for our Arcanine, this is kind of the time to just go nuke and hit one of with a Flare Blitz. You could keep it in for Trick Room, just kind of like another target to hit, but that armor is just those expanding force. I think you'd rather have something like, I mean, the hard part is the last book, right? So I feel like at this point the best bet is just get rid of that. Keep your Fluttermane alive. If you can just get rid of that Trick Room potential, then you'll have a good spot for that final match, especially when we see what. We're gonna go for Protect. How is the Trick Room gonna get up? Is the question. NDD goes for Dazzling Gleam, so the Trick Room's not gonna get up. I think that's the thing. I'd be worried about that because I know what my last Pokemon. I know that a Trick. Insane. Drain Punch from Brandon's Iron Hands onto Robert's Iron Hands. It still kind of just does around the same Iron trade-offs. But that Drain Punch onto the NDD, not quite enough. Very lucky that Dazzling Gleam was the move instead of that Yeah, that was a really nice dazzling gleam right there. I think here, yeah, I think that if Robert really appreciated that dazzling gleam because if the trick room went off, I think it, yeah, your Iron Hands would have been faster, but then like once you get rid of that Arcanine, the Flutter Mane comes in, and after Flutter Mane comes in, especially knowing that Armarouge can KO it with an expanding force, it's over. So helping hand on this Iron Hands from Brandon's side here, which is going to go ahead and go. Arcanine going to go for the Snarl first, gets rid of the. But Iron Hands is going to stay up, almost full health, and a helping hand boost. So let's take a look at what I'm going to take a guess that's going on to Robert's Iron Hands. I don't know why you would helping hand just to hit an Arcanine that's at like 4 HP. But yeah, that Iron Hands is going to chunk the other Iron Hands. Brandon's Iron Hands is going to chunk Robert's Iron Hands by around 50. And another recovery there for Robert's Iron Hands, and went from under half health to just over half health on Robert's side there. That was interesting. Armarouge is a solid choice. I'm gonna be honest here, gotta watch out. The Trick Room went up. I'm pretty confident though that Robert's Iron Hands outspeed. Your NDD, yeah, just checking the speed of it. Checking to see the speed of Pokemon. I personally, yeah, the Snarl from Arcanine. Not having that Trick Room is really useful, you know. It's gonna allow you to expanding force, but that Snarl is gonna really come. I still think Brandon's in the best spot, but mostly. Drain Punch. It's gonna really come down to the Snarl, right? That's what it's gonna come down to. Not. One thing we do know now, also, that Armarouge does actually outspeed Iron Hands in. Oh, okay. That Iron Hands. I was gonna say that Iron Hands does outspeed the Armarouge in Trick Room, so that is really good. Or sorry, outside of Trick Room, Iron Hands is faster than Armarouge, is what I'm saying. Robert hanging onto a thread by a thread here, but it's really, really close. This is gonna be really interesting. I think at this point, yeah, swap that Iron Hands out so you can fake out the opposing Iron Hands. Get rid of it. Magnezone coming in play. Is that switch predictable or not? Flutter Mane goes for the Moonblast. It connects with the Magnezone. Expanding Force then goes, oh, is it a speed tie? Because the Iron Hands went first to the last one. Is it a speed tie? That would actually be really interesting. Okay, well, that's why I was a bit. Well, either way, Brandon takes the win here, but that is something you want to pay attention to in the next match here. The speed on that Iron Hands and Armarouge really going to be interesting to see how that works out in the next one. But overall, wonderfully played there by Brandon. Just, again, Trick Room is so useful, especially, like I was saying, in this matchup, Robert's team is rarely not built to handle a full-on Trick Room. I mean, obviously it is built to handle a full-on Trick Room team, but like when you look at the Pokemon, Iron Bundle, Flutter Mane, those don't handle Trick Room really well. And so you really, if you're Brandon, it gives you a clear path, right? Let's focus on the Arcanine and Iron Hands and just continually put pressure on them to where once the Flutter Mane and Iron Bundle come out, it's scary for them, right? If you like that Armarouge and DD lead, that was perfect because you were able to put the pressure on, get that Trick Room up right away. There was nothing there that Robert could do to follow me. It worked out perfectly. And honestly, I don't see any reason to change anything, except, yeah, on Brandon's Pokemon, I think that's not a bad switch. Robert here, to be honest, I think you gotta just pay attention to the Trick Room, right? You gotta like, okay, they're gonna get the Trick Room off. What should I do? What is my goal? How do I know I'm not gonna be able to stop it, so what should I do to counter it? And we're gonna see Flutter Mane, Iron Hands, and Armarouge. I think that's a solid lead, honestly, because you're going to be pretty much knock out the NDD no matter what, the Drain Punch Moonblast combo. If it doesn't follow me, then it's going to get taunted, or potentially, like, I think you could either go, if you expect that Armarouge to Trick Room, you can double up on the NDD with that combo, but if not, taunt the Armarouge, and have Iron Hands just Drain Punch NDD still, because it can do a lot. But then the thing is, if that happens, the Armarouge is going to be able, if it doesn't go for Trick Room, Expanding Force is a possibility. You could also just Shadow Ball it. It's one of those games where it's like, what are they going to do? Are they going to Trick Room? Are they going to follow me? Are they going to attack? You never know with Armarouge and so many flexible options that it can pick. Well, Robert has to play the right. right? There is a way that these two combo of Fluttermane and Iron Hands can stop Armarouge and DD. Thing it, and we're gonna see that Terra, I believe, right now on Robert's side here. That's gonna be that Iron Hands going right into fire. The thing is, what do you do now? Like, what is the right call? Where are they gonna follow me? Are they gonna Dazzling Gleam? Are they gonna Trick Room? Who's gonna Trick Room? So there's that follow me. I'm gonna guess we're gonna see a taunt here. Yeah, it's either Moonblast or taunt, depending on if they want to knock out the NDD or just kind of make it just Dazzling Gleam. Taunt's always been the better option here, considering the Dazzling Gleam's its only move. Drain Punch, gonna do solid. It gets it down at least, and now there's that Trick Room. Okay, now is tough. Interesting question. Don't think. Honestly, yeah, NDD can't fall. It's kind of forced into that. That was a really wonderful taunt because Iron Hands. Now I think we said in last time that speed, right? We don't know which one's gonna outspeed because it looks like it was a speed tie. Unless I missed something, but I believe that Iron Hands can put back pressure on Armarouge, but it can only do it with Drain Punch. And unfortunately, yeah, I mean, the good news is you have Fluttermane kind of working in Trick Room here. If you're Robert, because it can't do much. It can go for a hit on Armarouge. It's gonna have to Terra to grab. I'm gonna imagine. Yeah, the Drain Punch. It's gonna. If it even goes for Expanding Force. And by the way, Trick Room was activated and the Iron Hands went. So, yeah. Expanding Force goes, crits on the Iron Hands actually, and that Shadow Ball is going to get rid of that Armarouge. This wonderful, wonderful play there by Robert. It just worked so well that keep that Fluttermane in, because you knew, okay, they can't. I know how this lead works. I'm going to let them taunt. I'm going to let them Trick Room. Once that NDD is useless and can only Dazzling Gleam onto some things that can't really, that'll take those hits, that's when my time to shine. I believe here Robert's Iron Hands does outspeed, so it'll go first. But Gastrodon is in play, and Gastrodon has a lot of options of power into like water, depending on which one you want to go for. Fluttermane protecting, great option. Just gotta install out that Trick Room. Oh, we see Gastrodon go for a Yawn, actually. That's the other option that I forgot to mention. Emotional Support Pikachu had something to say. I think he was saying that the Iron Hands just Drain Punched on the Gastrodon. No, and the Iron Hands on Brandon's side is going to get Sword Stance up, and that's going to be a big threat. But, yeah, I think here, the interesting thing, the Iron Hands on Brandon's side is actually kind of slow in Trick Room, which is something that I say, but it is. You know, the only thing that it outspeed here would be that Fluttermane, and now it's back to being quite fast, but it is going to get intimidated. It's -1, so it's still powerful, but it's still -1, you know, it's or +1, sorry, it's still powerful, but it's not as good as you would hope for a sword. But the Earth Power going to knock out that Fluttermane, and now Wild Charge +1 on Arcanine gets it down quite a bit, but the good news is here, and we're going to see Arcanine go ahead and recover. And if I'm not mistaken here, then the Iron Hands on Robert's side is going to be able to do some damage now, thanks to that. But I think, unfortunately, that the Psychic Terrain stays on the field, and you were kind of hoping for a Fake Out. I believe, though, that Robert still has one more Pokemon, and there's one more turn of both Trick Room and Terrain. So I think right now the best bet here is, like, if you're Robert, you have just try and knock out whichever one is the lowest, because if even then the Psychic Terrain is going to end, so NDD's going to pretty much come on out no matter what with that Terrain. But there's that Terra Fire this time on Brandon's side, so both Terra Fire, Iron Hands. Yeah, I was thinking you can knock out one of them, stop the NDD. That's not going to work. Gastrodon goes for the Earth Power, connects with the Iron Hands, which actually does not do one at all. The Drain Punch from one hands to another. Gonna recover a bit here on Robert's side. I think that Terra Fire may potentially negate a future Will-O-Wisp. That Drain Punch did so much thanks to that Sword Stance. Ugh, this is now a tough position for and a Flare Blitz actually going to go into the Iron Hands, so let's get it down on 127. Okay, just above half health. First dimension return normal, and there goes the weirdness. So now Robert's still in a tough position. He's down to 2 lower health Pokemon. However, you do have the speed power now. I do believe that Arcanine will go first with Flare Blitz. I don't kind of don't have much choice, fortunately. And kind of just the nice thing is though that Indeedee is in the back, and these two Pokemon are relatively slow, but it's going to be 1-on-2, right? It's going to be whatever this last Pokemon is, which should hope is Iron Bundle versus the rest. The hard part, if it is Iron Bundle, it's fighting. I think Brandon may be able to pick up some that Earth Power is definitely knocking out that Arcanine. So Robert down to 1. Brandon still has Indeedee in the back as well as the 2 on the field right now. It just shows you the power of bulk between Iron Hands and Gastrodon. I mean, they are so bulky that they can just take hit after hit. And Iron Bundle coming out with the booster energy, yeah. I think this is what the game right now. Freeze Dry on Gastrodon, that's fine. But if you after that, the Iron Hands just drain. Can't really do much, or it could also. Yeah, you can't really, because even after protect, you cannot Hydro. So it's gonna get absorbed anyways. And Freeze Dry on the Iron Hand, basically hoping for a freeze. Oh, oh, it happened. What? This game may come down to a freeze. This game may come down to a freeze. Oh my goodness. At this point, you target the Gastrodon, I imagine. You just, but now with Gastrodon out of play, you just gotta hope for freeze hacks. I was like, at this point, it's just coming down to a freeze, and then it happened. Oh my goodness. Freeze Dry of Indeedee is not specially, it didn't have the special defense boost. Iron Hands thaws out. That's gonna be what, that's it. That's it. You were basically hoping for the freeze hacks, but Iron Bundle fades, and Brandon Davis is the winner of today's Gym Challenge Sunday. Oh my gosh. I mean, when you see that freeze, it literally sends a chill down your spine, because you don't know when that thing is going to unthaw. It has a 10% chance each turn, which means statistically it has, if I'm not mistaken, like, that's not good. That is not good. You can stay frozen for 10 turns, and that would be, like, normal. So that freeze is just a killer. So landing that was insane, but unfortunately there for Robert, it just couldn't hold on Brandon's side. So Brandon, well done for winning today's challenge, and well done for Robert for making it into top 2, and everyone else for coming out here and playing. Just being in a tournament environment is really stressful. I know we talk about this a lot, because when you're playing in a tournament, it's tough not only to think, but also you have to play like 5 hours straight, and that's tough. So also everyone at Knoxville Regionals, good luck. You were playing a lot more. That's a lot of matches. So go get some food. If you're watching at home, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you guys also get snacks and water and rehydrate. I know I'm gonna go do that as soon as I'm done here. But what a wonderful match, and it was a really fun day. I mean, it was a really chill, happy, not frozen chill, but chill, happy day. But stay warm. I know it's cold out there. And yeah, we will see you, I believe, next Sunday for the next one. See you then.